as well out there, and maybe some new cars as well. I know a little bit of information. Gary Kisvetter was out there in race 1, but I believe young Troy Dolenchek will be racing that Ginetta in the second race. That
Correct.
LMP G57. That's an LMP2 prototype car, the likes that would race in Le Mans.
Yes, not a new LMP2 car, but relatively new. Yes, Gary Kieswetter did race that car in race number 1. And I got information, somebody walked up the stairs where the IMUSAT people was there and said, tell the commentary team that Troy Dolenchek, that did not do race number 1, will be out in the second race. So I presume he will be driving the Gary Kieswetter car in this one. But we'll obviously look and see what our timekeeping device says as to who is in that car and who's not in that car. As that Ginetta rolls through into turn number 1. Yes, Oliver Hintenhuis. There is Noel Greiling. Oh, that Porsche sounds awesome of Greiling. As the cars just all one by one roll through. Saw the likes of Gavin Gorman working his way through as well. There is Andre Brunk, Martin Prince, just a few of the names you're picking up there as the cars are beginning to work through. Lovely SLK, Mercedes-Benz out on the circuit. That is the number 13 car of Marius Fourie in Class D.
And I see the ever so wonderful Alf of Eric Salomon has not made its way out into race 2.
No, I didn't do race 1 either.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I didn't commentate race 1, so I didn't see that Alf. Usually you can hear the Alf come past us. And then Martin Pugh, I spoke to him a little bit earlier, and he said suspension component on the rear of that car. That sent him into the dirt. He almost went rally crossing outside of Castrol Corner. And he couldn't find a spare for race 2. So he's out in the old Shelby Can-Am. But the rest of the field, 17 cars, 17 sports and GT-esque vehicles make their way around the circuit before they line up and they get ready for a thundering of a second heat.
Right, so behind the safety car, these sports and GT cars, sponsored by Le Joubert Wine Estates, makes its way down the Kalani Strait, over the King Tony Tools Bridge, towards Pertamina Fostron, past the main sponsor Line Property Management Boards, towards Pertamina Fostron, before 10 laps of high-speed action will proceed.
I see Charles Visser in a very, very quick Porsche. He just came back from Italy in Misano, practicing in a GT3 Cup car. Then we've got Noel Greiling. His dad usually shares the car with him, but he had a rib surgery or rib injury not that long ago, so he'll be riding the car, taking them away from the line. The lights go on, the lights go off, and the thunder is felt as they make their way down into Holzhoek for the second time today, and the first of the racing laps get underway. 10 to go. We'll see how this one pans out.
Right, out of turn number 1, out of holes they go, and already we see the Ginetta clearing off. And in second position, it is Charles Visser. Oliver Hintenhuis is right in that fight as well. Then behind Ollie, we've got Noel Greiling. That is the first 4 cars. I think it might be Connor Kilbride that sits in there. We'll just get confirmation. Andre Brink is in there behind him, and so is Martin Prince, as we watch this whole train of cars roll out of Damstep.
Martin Prince just recovering from a collarbone surgery not that long ago. I saw the patch on his shoulder still, and he's still running as quick as ever is the Dutchman as he makes his way through sweep now and the rest of the field, and the leaders head down to Pertamina Fostron. But like you said, that Ginetta is just up, duck, and disappeared ahead of the Porsche of Charles Visser. That Ligier, that French prototype that they make in France, of Oliver Hintenhuis, and then Noel Greiling in that other Porsche GT3 Cup car just behind there in 4th.
Yeah, Noel Greiling sitting there in 4th. You just see him there in 4th. Then we've got Connor Kilbride, we've got Andre Brink, we've got Martin Prince in that fight as the field comes working through. Then Tristan de Nobrega. So the 43 car is now in the hands. It's now 433 of Dolacek. Remember, he did not race that car in race number 1. It was Kieswetter. So the leader is now Troy Dolacek in that LMP2 Janetta.
Yep, we know Troy Dolacek from the Formula 1600 series up north. He did the Extreme Festival not that long ago, and I believe he was champion in a year prior to this year. He is now in a proper full-on four-wheel prototype as he races down the Kalani Straight to the back south side of the circuit. They make their way down into Pertamina Fosron and peeling away ahead of Charles Visser. Charles Visser is going to be under pressure very shortly by Oliver Hintenhuis in that Ligier. And Noel Greyland just a little bit behind Ollie in 4th place.
That's the cars you see working their way out of turn number 5, out of Fostron corner. It's Visser, it's Hintenhuis, and it's Greyland. That's the cars that is on shot, racing down towards us now. Then we got Connor Kilbride. He's in there behind him, a little bit of a gap before we see Andre Brink, and right on his case is Martin Prince, followed by Tristan de Nobrega, and then Davi Joubert coming through. Gavin Gorman and Simeon Penev are the next 2 cars as we watch Ollie Hintenhuis work his way through Castrol, and just ahead of him is Charles Visser.
Yeah, we watch them go through. There's Noel Greyland, there's Connor Kilbride, part of Racing Spirit. Teammates with Tristan de Nobrega in the other BMW. A good racing outfit that they've got is Racing Spirit. Their team is a good bunch as they now make their way out of Dams Dip and through the Joubert Straight, or the Tygerberg Straight rather, and through to Sarl Sweep. But then you see Andre Brink and Martin Prince both in the GT3 Porsches, and then Tristan de Nobrega in the first or the second of the BMWs, and then Davi Joubert in that other, I've heard it's a Golf GTI powered Lotus Exige.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it's a very, very quick motor car, that's for sure. As the race leader, Troy Dolacek, he's done a 1:10.604. He's the quickest man out there. Is Troy Dolacek working his way out of Holzhoek all on his own down the Joubert Straight. Charles Visser coming through. Behind Visser is Ollie Hintenhuis. Behind Ollie Hintenhuis is Noel Greyland. And behind him is Connor Kilbride. That's working their way into turn number 1 into holes. Then we've got this lovely fight. Andre Brink, Martin Prince, and Tristan de Nobrega, sorry.
Yeah, there's Connor Kilbride in the Racing Spirit BMW once again. He makes his way into picture, but these two are going to fight it out. These are, to me, arch enemies in the sports and GT. You always see them racing together. They are so close. As Prince goes a little bit wide and out of the comfort zone and loses out to Tristan de Nobrega a little bit. He's clawed up a little bit of time, but he has not let de Nobrega by. But this gives Andre Brink the perfect opportunity to peel off and try and get that Porsche as far ahead of those two.
And just behind them, you see Davi Joubert coming into a picture as well with a Lotus Exige. Yeah, it's walking around underneath him. Got a lot of work to do, but here is Brink, here is Prince, and here is de Nobrega. And right there with them, virtually, is Davi Joubert. There he comes into shot now. Davi Joubert as they race down towards Fostron corner.
Almost side by side are the 2 Porsches. De Nobrega's just watching and waiting in that E46 M3 as they leave Pertamina Fostron. You see Davi Joubert in the background. He's also just waiting to see if any one of those 3 makes a mistake as they head now to Holzhoek once again. 6 laps to go, and a fastest lap by the Janetta driven by Troy Dolacek of a 1:10.173. That is faster than the superbikes we've had out today.
Yeah, I think the quickest superbike was Cuban on a 1:11 odd, and he's done a 1:10.173 has Dolacek. However, we keep an eye on him as he works his way out of Pertamina Fostron. Will he beat a 1:10.173? We'll have a look. See, he's got back markers ahead of him. Does Dolacek, and across the line he goes, and he does not go quicker than a 1:10.173.
Now you see we've left him out a little bit, but it's the Class C runner, or the Class D runners rather. It's Ray Farnham ahead of Swanepoel and Humble, Steve Humble in the Porsche there. The 151 car, he's fighting there with Brett Swanepoel and Ray Farnham in the Lotus. We haven't given them much some screen time, but they get it now. But here comes Troy Dolacek, about to go around the outside of Steve Humble through the kink. And then on the inside of Brett Swannefelder into Dam's Dip. Now he's got to pick off Ray Farnham, and he's off with some more fresh air.
They just keep right out of his way, and they say there's no ways we can stick with you, as he's now going to put a lap on that Farnham and Swannefeld fight. Two of the cars in that fight, three of them actually going down the back straight, and then the leader is ahead of them going down the Kalani straight towards Pertamina Fostron. We'll get him as he goes through. Oh, these three are still nose to tail, and this little battle will still be led out there by Ray Farnham.
Yep, and that Porsche of Steve Humble has just jumped and gone up the inside of Brett Swannefelter, so he moves up into second place in class and 13th overall. Usually we see Steve Humble in his pull beam, but it hasn't been out in a little while. But now he's in a Porsche. There goes Charles Visser. Here comes the Ligier of Oliver Hintenhaus. That's second and third as they go through your picture. Then slightly behind there's Noel Grayling, should be coming into view. There he is in the Fugistics GT3 Porsche Cup car. Fugistics is his dad's company, so good to see them repping. And then another, that's Heimberg in the other 350Z.
Well, we go back to this fight. And I'll tell you this, the Nobriguez right on the back end there of the Martin Prince Porsche. And ahead of both of them is Andre Brink. So it's Brink, it is Prince, and it is the Nobriga that is racing down into turn number one, into Holzhoek. And there is nothing between those three cars as they make their way out of holes.
As you look on this left side of your screen, all the classes are laid out perfectly in order. But now we just keep watching this Class B battle in Sports and GT. Andre Brink holds to the inside line to make sure that no one tries to get sneaky and dive him up the inside. And Martin Prince is just trying to hold off Tristan de Nobrega as de Nobrega almost gets alongside through the Landstem kink. But he cannot make it possible. Now Andre Brink gets a little bit of a gap. That's about 3 or 4 car lengths is the difference between himself, Martin Prince, and Tristan de Nobrega. But this is going to be a fight for third place in class and 7th overall.
Well, that fight that's heading now into turn number one into holes. There you see Visser get past this combination that's led there by Farnham. It's Farnham, Humble, and Swannefelder. And they've just been lapped there by second place man, Charles Visser, as they head into Cashel. And here comes Ollie Hintenhaus. Oliver Hintenhaus is going to put a lap on those three cars as well.
Yep, Oliver Hintenhaus doing some lapping of his own as he's about to get past the likes of that was Swannefelder. He's got Steve Humble on his outside. He'll get past Steve. And then he's got Ray Farnham just ahead in the Lotus, who will be his next target to get past as one of the back markers. As we hear Davy Joubert in that Golf GTI 7.5R powered Lotus Exige come past us. But there's your third place man, Oliver Hintenhaus, making his way out of Sarl Street and down to Pertamina.
Yeah, just put a lap there on Farnham, Humble, and Swannefelder. That is 12th, 13th, and 14th cars that he's just lapped there. That's the three of them that's on screen there, Pete. 12, 13, and 14. That is Farnham, Humble, and Swannefelder. But the leader's got about a lap and a half to go as he makes his way through the kink, Landstem kink, and into turn number 3, into Damstip. That is the leader. You'll see him on shot now, working his way through. Dams, here he comes, all on his own. Up front, he's 17 seconds ahead of Charles Visser. That is in that second position. Through saddle sweep goes your leader, Troy Dolacek, and he's got a lap and a bit to go before he sees the checkered flag.
It's incredible to see youngsters like this racing prototypes. I mean, even Charles Visser with Nick Adcock and Jonathan Thomas in that Nova. They did the SAES Endurance Series up north. Charles Visser was in the prototype. Troy Dolacek in a prototype this time round. And he's absolutely smashing it as he comes to start his final lap. And the final lap of both heats out today and for the year.
Well, keeping in mind there that the SLK of Marius Fourie has been caught there by Visser, the second place man. Here comes Gavin Gorman to the line. He's got Simeon Panev in there behind him. Here comes the SLK of Marius Fourie, and then right behind them is third place man Ollie Hinternaas. Here comes Noel Greiling towards the line, and he sits there in P4. And here comes this fight between Ray Farnham. There was 3 of them. They're down to 4. It is Farnham, and right there with him is Steve Humble.
I see a double waved yellow in turn 1 in Hole's Hook, but I don't know what it's for. I haven't seen anyone there. It's that Swanefelter coming past the go-kart circuit down the Joubert straight.
Well, I just said there was 3 of them fighting, and now it's only 2. It was Farnham and Humble, and there Jordan gave you the answer. It is Swanefelder, Brett Swanefelder.
Your leader coming out. Here comes your leader. Second win for the team today, but Dolenchek in the making his way around Perth.
Comes down towards us. That officer in that Porsche just back from Italy, and he is 18.2 seconds behind Dolenchek, and Ollie Hinternaas crosses the line in P3, 5.6 behind him. Noel Greiling will cross the line in P4, and he's nearly 6 seconds behind Ollie Hinternaas.
Yep, Visser, Hinternaas and Greiling will take first, second and third in class. Then we have Connor Kilbride coming across the line now, passing back Marcus Ray Farnham and Steve Humble. He'll take first in Class B. Ray Farnham will take first in Class D ahead of Steve Humble there in your picture. Then we wait for this battle still to the very end. I don't see Andre Brink though.
Andre Brink is not there. That is De Nobrega that sits there just behind Prince. Here comes Martin Prince to the line, and he has got Spirit Racing's Tristan Nobrega, and only now do we see Andre Brink making his way to the line, and right behind him is Davy Joubert in the Lotus Exige.
So something must have happened to Andre Brink, because he was holding out the lead in Class C the whole race. So something must